This is Tom Dillon, the Lifetime Liberal, and today is Sunday, April 24th, 2016, and the title of this rant is The Danger of Ted Cruz's Dominionism. Now, Dominionism is what I would refer to as a far right sect of the religious right, in which they believe that their brand of religion should dominate religion, government, media, family, business, education, arts, and entertainment. The seven pillars of something. The 7-story mountain, but that's a different thing. So they firmly believe that. And in a lot of circles, their political agenda is to have that actually come into existence. And what it allows for basically is that there be no separation between church and state. But of course, the thing is, it's their version of their church. It's their version of what it is. So their version basically is that the Catholics are apocalyptics, whatever. And of course, any other religion is, of course, down the tubes. We don't believe, and that's part of it, is that they are better than other religions, that their religion dominates. And that even goes to Catholic and other forms of Christianity. Now, Ted Cruz has never said he's been part of that. He espouses to many of those views. We know that his good dad, Raphael, extremely espouses to those types of things. And of course, this concept of evangelical, Pentecostal, speaking in tongues, and of course, is very, very dangerous to the political spectrum, especially if anyone like that gets into any type of elected office. And we've seen this to a great extent in the last 30 years of the GOP, as they've kowtowed to the religious right and played that game, even for a lot of things that they don't necessarily believe in, because they want to have those rights. And in a lot of ways, a lot of Republicans, especially men, they don't really have a big dog in the fight on abortion, but they know it's a winner for them, and they'll act that way anytime, place, etc., that they can do. Now, this dominionism type of thing comes from the Bible. I don't know the passageway because I'm not that great on it, but it has to do with that God will give man dominion over the land and sea, over the animals, over the birds, and over the fishes. That type of thing. And of course, this is one of the reasons why they don't want to believe in global climate change, because they think that God wouldn't let that happen to them here in this lifetime. Now, again, I said that Ted Cruz believes in that type of stuff, and if he ever were to get elected, he would, go from being a passive-aggressive type of person in terms of the fact that he's, sort of doesn't want to admit that he really believes into it, to really showing his faith on his sleeve every single day as president. And of course, being locked up in the race with the Donald right now, it looks like that Donald's going to win the primaries this week. I believe Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, I think Rhode Island, something like that. And it gives him a good chance of getting that 1237, but then we come into Indiana, which is coming up. Now, if you remember, it was earlier last year that they had their bathroom type bill, their LGBT bill, etc., that didn't last long, that Governor Mike Pence, a big religious guy, had to cut back. Of course, he said he wasn't cutting it back, but again, a lot of businesses threatened to leave. I think was the NBA located in Indianapolis. They threatened to get out of there, that type of thing. But in that, Indiana has a primary on May 3rd. And the winner of it gets 30 of the electoral vote, 30 of the delegates. I believe Indiana has 48 or something, and then the rest of the delegates are assigned by the winner of different districts. So right now, the Donalds is ahead by about 6 points, and of course that can change a little bit. But what's going on in my mind is that behind the scenes in Indiana, the people that wanted to get that LGBT discrimination bill passed in Indiana, which they did, of course, underneath the radar. Pence didn't even have an open session where he had the signing. He had it closed when he had some nuns in there and some kids and some religious people who helped back the bill. I would venture to say that behind the scenes, because of what the Donald said the other day when he said it was okay for Caitlyn Jenner to use the restroom in any of the Trump let's just say, Trump buildings, that sent a signal to them that, of course, Donald wants to play both sides of the issue, and they're not going to have it. They don't want both sides of the issue. They want their side of the issue, no other side of the issue. So I would venture to say that behind the scenes there's quite a bit going on with the religious right in Indiana to get this thing over towards Ted Cruz. And again, the reason why I'm saying this, Donald looks like he's going to do well in Connecticut, Rhode Island, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland. And to keep him from that 1237, Indiana is going to be proving a big one because, again, the state awards 30 delegates to the winner. I think there's 48 delegates altogether, and then the rest are decided by the districts themselves. So if Cruz were to win and win a couple of districts, let's say 4 of the 6, he'd get 30 plus 12, 42. He could win 42, and the Donald would win 6. So that's a big thing. But just to get back on the Dominionism, these people are what they used to refer to as the crazies. and they're so prominent in the Republican Party right now. It's preventing the Republicans from having any type of compromise, not only on the budget end of it, but on a whole host of other things, especially I mentioned the LGBT thing, etc. So, but this whole concept that we would actually have someone vying to be President of the United States who will not admit it while they're running, but at the same time is firmly believes in that Pentecostal, that evangelical, that speaking in tongues, Dominionism, that man has dominion over the land, the water, the birds, the fishes, the animals, and that his brand of religion, let's say Christianity, is superior to all other religions and other versions of Christianity, and basically are taking us back to what I would refer to this, not the 1950s, to the 1750s. That's how far back this whole thing goes. And hopefully, here's the thing. You got 1 with the Donald and 2 with Cruz. Which one, which one is worse? They're both terrible. But if Cruz becomes the nominee, at least you know that he will run a political campaign, whereas we don't know that the Donald will do that. So there is, as much as Cruz might be that Dominionist, he might actually do better in the general campaign because he really is a politician and knows how to deal with these things much better than Trump does. So time will tell. But that whole concept of Dominionism in politics, in this presidential election, is a very, very dangerous thing and must be monitored very closely.